right, David, super excited to have you here.
Thank you, Brad.
With David from LendingUSA. I got to tell you, it's been a good journey, the two of us. I think if I look back 7 years ago is when we started working together.
Yeah, that's right. 2016, actually.
2016, you were new to my vertical. We came in, we tested it in my businesses. The results were outstanding. Since then, we've been able to take this product out to hundreds and hundreds of retailers across the country, transacting hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, big game changer for businesses, I would say. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree.
Okay.
Couldn't be happier to be here.
Fantastic. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about LendingUSA and what you do there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started with LendingUSA about 8 years ago, officially. I was behind the scenes before it started. But so I manage anything that has to do with business development, client acquisition, client engagement. I have a fantastic team that does all of the, what we call relationship management.
Okay.
That's inbound, outbound for our existing customers, while trying to develop both, get new businesses to use our platform and create strategic partnerships, right? So when we work together as a retailer, lender, but also we created this strategic partnership that elevated our relationship, and that's why we're here. Right? So that's what we try to do across the board with all of our businesses.
So I mean, it's really tees up into the next question, right? So you're literally in the trenches helping retailers drive success.
Absolutely.
All right. So what is it that you believe that LendingUSA does at the kind of the macro level? What are you doing to help a retailer take the business to the next level?
So, we believe that there's only three things that matter, or let's say the main three things that matter when it comes to consumer financing. And what does consumer financing do? It allows more people to say yes to your product or service, right? So when you're looking at what are all of my options to pay as a consumer, most of us always think, oh, do I have enough cash in my wallet, or do I have enough room on my credit cards? Mm-hmm. But there's always a third option for the majority of businesses now, not just in the US, but across the world, of maybe there's a way to put this in set installments and something that's going to fit my budget, and maybe I can take advantage of zero interest options, right? Mm-hmm. We offer a 6-month zero interest option in every single one of our loans, and across most verticals. In some we offer 12 months, in some we don't offer it, but for the majority of our business, and if you look at our portfolio, the majority is comprised of 6 months zero interest. That's a huge selling point for anybody, right?
Yeah.
We've seen buy now, pay later, and how it's grown like wildfire. We've been doing that for 8 years at a much smaller level, right? It's product specific, market specific, and consumer credit specific. But we help most businesses get more people to say yes.
I think when I'm looking at business, because I'm in the trenches too, working with businesses, and you find that a lot of business owners will say, well, my customers don't need financing. It irks me sometimes, right? Because as a business owner, as people, we naturally think that everyone is like us. They all know the same thing we know. They're all in the same situation that we're in. So if I'm a business owner and I'm doing well, maybe I don't need to finance something. So why would my customers need to finance it?
But let me challenge you there. And I have this conversation in a lot of conferences and a lot of businesses where I'm meeting, with CEOs of, like you, CEOs of companies that have, good revenue stream, good client base. They tell me the same thing. Well, I'm the owner of a giant funeral home. Why do I need to offer my customers financing? Do you finance your cars?
On occasion, depends on the car. Yeah.
Do you finance your houses?
Absolutely.
Do you in some cases, do you finance your business?
100%, usually there, right? Yeah.
So financing is not just for people that can't afford to pay. Of course, it helps a lot of people that can't afford to pay, and we have some products that go really deep in the credit spectrum for that exact same reason. But really, financing is for everybody.
100%.
I work in finance. If I see a good enough interest rate or a zero interest option, you better believe I'm going to take advantage of it.
Well, you also don't know the circumstances of people. That's what I try to tell business owners. You might have somebody who's really well off, but they got 2 daughters that were twins that just went to college, and they had to buy new cars. I mean, you just don't know. And they could be completely tapped out in that 6-month plan on the thing that they would like to make their house better now that the kids have left home. They want to get it, and it makes them feel a little more comfortable. So we don't ever want to prejudge a customer or think that we know their financial circumstances. As retailers, it's our job to have the ability and the offerings for them to take home our service or product.
It's offering it upfront and equal,
Right.
right? It's just another option.
Right.
And that's what, really, if you look at, again, in the auto industry, in the mortgage, or in the housing industry, they've done so well. They just assume, hey,
They
you're
start
gonna
there.
finance it,
They start
right?
there, right? Yeah.
Because that's really what creative financing and consumer financing should be. It's a way for you to fit all of everything that you want or need in a lot of cases. Our tagline is financing important moments in life.
Right.
So any important moment in life, if you need it, it should fit into your budget. And if you can't fit it entirely into your budget today, spread it out over 5 years or spread it over 6 months and pay no interest.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so when I'm looking at a business that I'm going to work with, I got my 3 pillars. Okay, so the first one is how's it going to affect my customers? I think you've touched on it. We're going to let you hit it again. How does it affect my team? And then at the end of the day, how's it make me money or save me money? If
Sure.
we can do all 3, I'm in. It doesn't even matter if I want to do it or not. I don't have a choice because it's met the 3 pillars. So if I'm a retailer and I'm looking at your business and I do an evaluation like that, let's talk about that. So one, how are we affecting the business's customers?
So I'll tell you, I'll take those 3 pillars into an internal philosophy that we had. We had a president that was, he took one of the largest companies in consumer financing today, especially in the medical space, teach us that there's only 3 things that matter, right?
Okay.
How many of my customers are you going to approve? That's how it affects customers.
Yep, better customer
right?
experience, right?
We're always looking at creative ways, opportunistic ways. They may not always be the best, but there's always a way to figure out how to approve more customers. Sometimes it's not us, right? So we'll connect directly with platforms that allow for multiple lenders to approve, as opposed to blocking it and saying, no, we want to be the only lenders in the space because we're there to make sure that as many customers get approved as possible.
Excellent. And we've seen that with the integration of FormPiper. Coming
Exactly.
in, you're working with multiple lenders in a spectrum. You can't get every contract. It's just not.
Right.
It's not possible. So being able to work as a team and make sure that customer goes home with the product that they want.
That's absolutely right. So that's your first pillar, right?
Right.
It's approval rates in the consumer financing. And
Right.
That's how we help your stores. That's how we help everybody else's stores. The second is how easy is it for my staff to use it? Because at the end of the day, ease of use translates to cost, translates to how many more people do you need in the business, how many more, let's say, how many more puppies can you sell an hour, right? That's where integrations are super important. Technology is super important. We've spent, because we're so diversified, even in the, we have counter-cyclical products to help in current economies like this one. We're able to continuously invest in technology to make the process easier and seamless.
Well, I can give you a testimonial right back. Okay,
Yep.
so if you needed a new product for the company, what you should do is you should license your technology to other lenders, because in working with you, our connectivity is flawless. Every single retailer I talk to is like, is there any way you could get the other lenders to do the same application and contract process as LendingUSA?
Done. Tell them to call me.
Okay.
We have software as a service as well.
Fantastic, because it's been seamless since day one. Like
Yep.
when we work with, and even some of the biggest lenders in the game that have been there forever, you would think that their tech would be fantastic. It's not. It's legacy. It's not doing a good job, so they definitely need to upgrade. So
Yeah.
nice work on that. You can definitely tell that you're paying attention to the experience for the team.
Constantly. And it's never perfect, like with technology, but you know what? Every day we're making improvements. Every
Right.
day we have a technology team, a project management team, an operations team that's getting all of the feedback from all of our customers that are constantly telling them experiences are not just statistics for us. We don't say, oh, this only happens 2% of the time. No,
Right.
because it could be a fraction of a percent of the time, but when you as a business owner are there in front of the customer, that's a terrible experience.
Terrible experience.
All you need is one, right? If you're a DirecTV consumer for 10 years and then you have that pay-per-view fight or a boxing match that you want to watch and it doesn't work, doesn't matter how many years, how many channels, how many programs you watch. Then the very next day you're gonna call Dish.
What have you
and
done for
switch.
me lately, basically? Yeah. Let's go.
So,
Yeah.
ease of use, right? That to us is our second pillar, and that's how it helps businesses reduce cost, drive revenues. And the last one is, how much is it going to cost me? Right? And we've always focused on trying to have our risk-based pricing to be as good for the business that's sending us their clients as possible, right?
Okay.
Financing, consumer financing it's pure math, right? We're just looking at how many people are going to pay us. So it cannot always be free, but we try to make it as close to free and in as many cases as free as possible to the business who's introducing us to their clients.
Well, you definitely always have the free product, for the top tier, and then you're going to buy down deeper. But we always found with you guys, we would always blend out the merchant fee, and it was always lower than anyone else that we were using.
So what we tried to do.
So we got great tech, we got low fees, and we got more happy customers because they're going home with those approvals.
That's absolutely right.
All right, so I'm a retailer. I'm looking at LendingUSA as a viable product to bring into my business. I'm struggling with my consumer financing program. I'm trying to fix it. What are you going to say to me?
So there's our philosophy. We've been in the market for 8 years, but we still consider ourselves a startup, right? Like being a startup is now, it used to define the time that you've been in business. Now being a startup defines almost your methodology and your culture, right? Mm-hmm. I believe culture is a byproduct of your strategy. So our strategy has been be opportunistic, be always testing, work on custom products where you can, meet the customer where they need to be, and don't say yes to everything. So when we do business together, like we have with you as a retailer, we went in and said, hey, we'd like to do business with you, but what does the product need to look like? Mm-hmm. How do we get the product to win? How do we get your customers to say yes to your products and services?
So instead of being a finance company trying to work with retailers, you're actually working with the retailer to identify the product to build, so building it for the retailer.
That's exactly right.
I think a lot of people make that mistake. I think FormPiper, we set ourselves apart because it was built from my perspective as a retailer.
Yep.
So when I compare it to other waterfall companies in my competition, I can tell that a retailer wasn't involved. Right? Because they're not thinking about us, they're just thinking about the transactional part of it. And as retailers, we need more than the transaction. We need data, we need processes, we need systems, we need cohesiveness with all of our partners, not necessarily just what that person might want to do. So
yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, we've made the mistakes. Luckily, we made them early on when it wasn't so costly, of building products and solutions based on what we thought was important.
Right.
Sitting around.
I remember a couple of those. We talked about them. You were like, "We're launching this," and I was like, well, "Why didn't you call me and talk about that?"
That's exactly right. Like when we had the tablets that we were sending.
Yeah.
We made a lot of mistakes.
But you were looking for opportunity, right?
Absolutely.
Trying to figure out how to add that value to the retailer. Yeah.
Since then, we started. Well, we've always tried to be as close to and have as close to a relationship with our customers, whether it's our end customer, the consumer, or the point of sale, as much as possible, because that's where we learn what needs to be done.
Right.
99% of our ideas are your ideas.
Right.
And we just come in and we say, okay, how do we implement this? How do we fix this problem?
Yep.
As opposed to, you know what, we think, and we have no idea what we're doing, right? We know finance, we know tech, we know servicing and collections, we know how it, but you as a retailer, you would know, this is exactly a problem I'm trying to solve. Here's how I think it would be the easiest way to solve it, but maybe there's another way. And by having that close relationship, we win. We all win.
Fantastic.
That's how we, I would say, stand out in the market.
All right, great. Well, I know for a fact, using you guys for as long as I did, see the impact that you've had with all the retailers that FormPiper works with. You're definitely 100% helping retailers drive success. So we appreciate you coming on today. We look forward
Absolutely.
to the potential retailers reaching out to you because of this content and information and helping them make that educated buying decision. So
Thank you so much, Brad.
appreciate it.
Cool.